Okay. The current AI model being used here is my shittier AI, Laura, which I love. It is the best. It really looks like complete shit. Which is the goal. It's called shittier AI. It's supposed to look like complete shit. Let me go ahead and announce the stream. We basically are just going to continue right from where we left off last time. Okay. So AV Guesser is now published. And by now, I mean as of literally like half an hour. It is now published. Man, that is some absolutely trashed AI. God, I really like trashed AI. I really enjoy trashed AI. Okay, I need to CDN, yeah, that's the one, JS deliver. npm AV Guesser, and then I actually I made a mistake. Oh well, sometimes you publish something and then immediately have to republish it. Did I even neglect to... Yeah, I don't even have an npm ignore file. That explains it. I want dist and I want that. And now I'm going to go ahead and do this correctly. This has to happen in a side window, so my apologies. Already 1.0.1. I'm going to actually npm pack to make sure that it has the right things. Yes, the dist is there. Yes, good, 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 good. What I had would work fine for using it in Node or a bundler, but would not work for just loading it directly, which is what I was trying to do. Enter your one-time password. Okay, that's more like it. This is what I needed. AV Guesser is quite small, of course. I also have the version of libav all built out. There are many, many versions. The modularized versions of libav.js built out. Let's do a quick spot check on how big this is. Let's just look at these. That one has audio filters, so like just AAC is 1.5 megs. That's lovely, but all is, 13, so smaller. Just Opus is, oh, that's AV1 and Opus. I was like, what? Okay, decoder for AV1 is 1.5 megs on its own. Let's try a decoder for Opus. Yeah, half a meg. Pretty good. I can live with this. So now I need to see if the changes I made to TransAVormer will let this all work together. So I guess what I want, maybe I'll start with the transcode demo. This isn't going to work. I'm going to have to... I don't know what I'm going to have to do to make this work modularly now that I think about this, but I will have to do something. Well, I guess what I can do quite simply is just require you to have libav.js in a directory next to this one. And that's fine. Color me slightly confused. I guess transcode.js is just a node demo of doing this, yeah. It's the same code, but it's, well, it's not the same code, but it's similar code. So, yeah. Does the blob array buffer function? I think you can ask for just a certain number of bytes. No. Got something better. I can slice. Apparently you can slice. You can slice a blob into a blob and then array buffer that. Okay. Easy enough. Thinking. I guess I'd better load. Should have remembered that address. I believe this names it, yeah, AV guesser. Okay, so for this to work, I actually need to run server here. Let's go ahead and test this on Chrome. Gonna open the console, even though I've gone out of my way to make sure I don't need the console. That's a matroshka. I forgot to actually check what this looks like. Format. I should check whether it was actually successful, but I'm too lazy for that. This one gets the demuxer as its libav, and this one gets the demuxer for identification, but also gets the full libav so it can make its own. Man, this shittier AI, shittier AI Laura, it works so well. I really wasn't expecting it to. I don't know what I was expecting, really. I guess I hoped it worked, obviously, or I wouldn't have even made it. But it really works well. It really has that, like, shitty old AI look, which I was not expecting. So yes, it is slightly weird that I've got two libavs here, but it's actually fine. I'm going to console log this just to see if it even loaded correctly. Cool. Can't read a ray buffer. I forgot to give an input to the demuxer. The input is the file, right? Yeah. I have no idea if that worked. I mean, I'm sure it worked in this sense. Oh, God. Yep, that worked. If Flay would have done that way faster. Yeah, okay, so it certainly worked. The question is, what the hell just happened? Now that I think about it, it probably shouldn't have worked. Yeah, it shouldn't have worked because the decoder should have been loaded incorrectly. Like, it should have been the wrong decoder. Unless, of course, I never even recompiled with the new changes. Ooh, that's screwy. What's going on here? I have a temp.ts that is not... Oh, God, I know exactly what it is. This is an MPEG-TS file that it thinks is TypeScript, so it tried to compile it as TypeScript. Okay. Let me make sure I'm not caching. Good. There we go. I was expecting something to go wrong. I'm not sure if this is it, though. Like, I'm not sure if this is what I was expecting to go wrong. Do my demuxer builds... Is it possible that my demuxer builds don't have file systems? Like, I forgot to give them the ability to read files. It is conceivable that I forgot to give demuxer builds the ability to read files. Let me think here. So that would have to be... It wouldn't be in the post. It would be in... I'm not actually sure. I guess that's in the list of... Yeah, the list of exports, so... Okay, so we've got a list of components, and then each component... Yeah. Something is extremely missing here, and I don't know if I have quite understood what or why. Look at all these build directories. So like in my file code, libav.js wait reader. So something should be making sure that libav.js wait reader is asynchronous. That's critical to the entire behavior. How can this be in makefile.m4 but not makefile? Oh, it is in makefile, just makefile is not star.star. So maybe... I mean, surely, like, if I look in configs, demuxer, matroshka, components, it does have AV format, and AV format like open input is marked as async. Do I have like exports for demuxer, matroshka? This is nice and readable. So there's that. I guess actually, yeah, that doesn't necessarily need to be exported. And asyncify, damn. Like, I could explicitly export this, but it ought to figure it out on its own. I shouldn't need to explicitly export it. Let me just, for the sake of testing, do this, see if it's more serious error than I even realize. What? Okay, so that got farther, but I screwed up the code. I am really very amused by the shitty AI, Laura. It is vintage AI. Okay, so this is not too surprising. This is just like something I missed, which now that I'm testing, fine, yeah, I can see why I missed that and what I need to do about it. But that reveals the fact that indeed my decoder build is just like botched, which is real bad. So let me, we're going to open a new tab. Just in case, I'll check stack get current, see if I already listed that. No, I didn't think so. So, which components are in here? Demuxer, Matroshka, components, format and FC bridge. Whereas if I look at like web codecs, that and AV codec and AV frame. So something in AV codec or AV frame is making that come through that was not in the others. AV frame. Why would I not have or need AV frame? Oh, because there are no frames if you're just demuxing, yeah. I don't see anything that screams out to me. I mean, there aren't even any asynchronous functions here. And nor should there be. Freers is a very funny name to me. Maybe it's something in post. Maybe something didn't end up in the right place in the post code. So we've got copy out for frames, Copy out for video frames. Packed copy out video frame. Copy out into image data. Copy out as a pointer. The list of versions. Copy in frame. Video frame version. How about AV codec? Initialize encoder. Initialize decoder. Free encoder. Free decoder. Encode. Decode. No. I wonder, is it possible that it's nothing to do with the actual back-end code and the front-end and back-end just aren't, like, meshing properly? Wait. I am loading the variant. Wrong, clearly. Because this is not the variant wasm.js file. So am I trying to load the variant by just loading the wasm file of the variant? Which I guess would work if they're all the same except for like which codecs they implement. But it certainly won't work if they export different functions and such. Yeah. So then, presumably, God, where would this even be? I guess the pre-code. Yeah. Well, that's a bit of a surprise. So I think this would work. If I did not conditionalize this on ASM.js. I didn't want to reload that sort of front-end component, but it just doesn't work. Do I cache this in any way? I guess I count on the browser to cache it is the answer. Okay. So this belongs here, no exceptions. And I'm going to rebuild demuxer matroshka and also web codecs VP9, which I think is the version web codecs AVF. No. That was suspiciously fast, but I guess I didn't need to rebuild any actual code, so I suppose it makes sense that it could be that fast. Cannot read properties of undefined, just like nowhere. So it did load the correct file, which is nice. Okay. This is slightly unfortunate because I don't have the context to know. Yeah. Although, wait. No, that's useless. Yeah, I don't have the context to know which function I was actually trying to call here, which is super annoying. Apologies for awful sounds. Just having nasal issues, as always. It did make it that far. I'm going to do this the quick and ugly way. So I need, what, that when I receive a message, I suppose? What is the context of this code? Yeah. Just check where that is. Yeah, of course, external post, that makes sense. Just give myself a quick sense of what's actually going on here. These, I think, should be relatively fast to rebuild because it doesn't have to rebuild any of the code. It just has to rebuild that final output file. Like workers plus promises plus that function does not exist. It's really weird that I ended up like getting the message from here. So like some aspect of the error message made it back, but nothing that I actually needed. Yeah, I see. I see why that's happening, why I thought it made sense. And it does make sense. But I would bet dollars to donuts that AV codec get name is part of libav codec. Although, wait, I think I ended up needing some chunks of AV codec anyway, because there's just a bunch of stuff that's in AV codec, so maybe it's FC bridge that this should be in. What am I looking for? Funcs. FC bridge that are needed to make use of AV format, yeah. So I feel like AV codec get bridge. Get bridge? AV codec bridge is the name of this quasi library. AV codec get name should possibly be part of this. But in order to satisfy myself that that's not a terrible idea, I'm going to go and quickly check that it's not like gigantic and terrible. just in utils. That's not too surprising, but and in fact, if utils also includes any of the other stuff that I have in FCBridge, then I already am including it. Let me just get a quick view of what's going on in FCBridge. Bunch of allocation stuff, which is already off to a great start. Align dimension. This feels a lot like. Let me just search for one of these. Well, AV packet alloc certainly can't be here, can it? No. Whatever. Rescale feels like it could be, but it's not. Anyway, get name. That's what I actually want. Yeah, this is codec descriptor crap. Yeah, I don't think I want AV codec get name for this. I feel like I would be happier to have AV codec descriptors and push those onto the FCBridge side. Yeah, I mean, codec descriptors are a pretty well isolated thing. And I don't... Ooh, are you kidding me? It's just like a giant fucking list here? Ugh. This is, strictly speaking, not true. Well, that's unfortunate, but oh well. It really does have to be there. It can't, yeah. I can compromise by having, instead of AV codec get name, get descriptor, and then get it out of the descriptor, so it's not like searching a list of decoders and such, which is really going to make things real bad. Okay. So, now, in my function list, I take all of these, and I move them into AVFCBridge. And I take the codec descriptor accessors. I move them into AVFCBridge as well. I mean, it makes sense that if codec parameters are going to be here, codec descriptors are going to be here too. Then I go into the source, in the bridge for AV codec, and the bridge for AVFCBridge. Oh. I say bridge, I mean bindings. Oh, fine, there are bindings in AVFCBridge. Wait, what? Weren't there already accessors? Yeah, there was codec parameters and packet. The accessors are in bindings. Unless I, like, stuck them here for some reason. Everything is wrong. I mean, this shouldn't have even built. Right? I guess. Yeah, it figured. Okay, those. Yeah. If they're. Well, no. I have no idea why this built. This shouldn't have built. This doesn't make any sense to me. But rather than befuddling my mind over it, I'm going to take the things out of AV codec that belong in FC bridge. There has to be some reason why I don't have any bindings for... Well, I have bindings for AV frame. That's also a pseudo library. Okay, whatever. Utter madness. I have no clue what's going on. Oh! What a weird thing I've done. I guess if I went into here. Whereas, yeah, if I look at fragments, AV, FC bridge, link flags. Yeah, okay, that was very, Anyway, so right now, AV codec descriptor is correctly not in full AV codec. It was just in the wrong place there. Brilliant. Good work, me. Some rebuilds, web codecs, AVF, and demuxer, Matroshka. In the interim, I will update this demo, which I already have open, so that instead of... Oh, it's not the demo. I will update the builder. I will update the decoder. I guess I will update the builder. Not sure where this landed. Yeah, there we go. Descriptor get. Okay. And somehow it just stopped there. What? What was going on now? It just stopped. I guess I have the ability to check whether it loaded the decoder. It doesn't look like it did. How odd that there's like nothing anywhere. Well, no, I know that it loaded because it did this. Variant decoder, codec name. That all seems approximately correct. That is not. That's not correct. Is it conceivable and perhaps likely that I never had the correct type for that? I guess it would still be in funcs. Descriptor. Yeah, here there's no type. It's wait, how does this work? Just looking for any accessors that are a string. Well, there's one. Okay, I'm a moron. So this definitely never worked. I'm assuming a long name is also a string. Okay, the rest of that should be correct. So this is just the address of the string in RAM, or in the local RAM of this particular instance. Quite useless. God, this is glorious shitty AI. It's perfect. I couldn't have done any better, and I barely tried. I'm really so, like, tickled pink with it. It's just, it's awful. The amazing thing is that the AI I trained it on, Crayon or Dolly Mini, is really slow. And this is 12 FPS, so I actually trained a faster AI to behave like a both slower and shittier AI. Hey! We got something. So this should not be correct, because it should not have correctly decoded one of the tracks. What was the name of that? BF. The fact that that's correct. Period. End of thought. Wow, I got a bunch of weird crap in down. I'm just going to delete all of this. There's no probability that any of that is correct. It's ancient. The thing is, wait, now look at this. Yeah, this debug message that I've left twiddling about never ran for the decoder I would expect. How is this possible? Yeah, it never actually loaded. So, like, it created a, like, it loaded it. It never actually loaded it. Yes, it did. But it doesn't seem to have used it. Here it is. It did load it. Okay, scrolling through all of the fields of the libav.js worker is not going to be especially helpful. This is exactly the same way that I loaded the this variant. Just a variant name. And I know that it loaded the variant correctly. I just don't understand how it didn't use it. Because this should have replaced the libav variable, so by the time it makes it to the decoder, it should be the correct one. Do I expose the variant name somewhere? No, at least not like that. No. If I do this, can I get like the source for this worker? No. But I mean, I do know that it loaded it because here it is. Although, Where is my worker for the main? Wait. Read. It's just clicked. The reason that it didn't have any problem is that it used web codecs. It's all built in. It's all there. It just used web codecs. Can I do this? Delete video decoder. Delete audio decoder. Okay. There we go. I fooled myself because it didn't technically need the decoder that it did successfully load. Okay, but that tells me quite loudly that this is not the way to go. I'm not doing this in a sensible way. This is a unique decoder problem. I think that I am correct to say that there is no need for this to be anywhere but the decoder. So, yeah, I know how to do this correctly. Basically, everything I was doing in one place, I had to do in a different place. Okay. This type. It's going to have to be this. That's going to break everything, but luckily I did it with a type, so it should be fairly straightforward to fix it again. So, what I want to do Oh, do I even have the init here? No. Not great to have these only distinguished by their capitalization, but whatever. What have I done? how have I done? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Okay. Well, I can just do this here. AV codec decoder, find decoder. Matching codec ID, okay. Codec ID, decoder. AV codec descriptor get. We can get the descriptor. A lot of ifs here, but c'est la vie. Then name equals AV codec descriptor. Or name, thank you. For that descriptor. Not decoders, decoder libavs. The hell? Libav decoders, cool, good naming. I didn't even export that. Libav decoders for this name, then make one. Decoders for this name equals await this dot libav variant is decoder for this name. Oh no, no wait here, it's a promise there. And stream LA equals await libav decoders for this name. Now here, I need to use stream LA. That's what actually goes into the decoder list. And then when I am decoding, make sure I use the stream libav decoder. I'll have to be careful about pointers somewhere, but I'll think about that when I think about that. I think I actually already was careful about pointers. Okay, right, I guess I have to flush it correctly as well. No problem. And more flushing? Fine. Why did I do it this way? should be the same, shouldn't it? Oh, wait. I probably didn't have AV codec flush buffers exported at some point. I'm going to hope that that is the only reason. Because I definitely want to use the stream libav. Okay. Now, hopefully, that should cover it. And in fact, let me just make sure. Right, I guess in this case, really, all of this can go away. This is no longer the issue at hand. But I do want to make sure that if you set that, then this is not going to output pointers because it could be different. Don't know why there's an extra line there. And now in the decoder code, when you actually build one, init.capital libav. And now we get a bunch of errors. Okay, fine. Since with a pointer you're not allowed to provide that. Okay, this might actually do it, but won't. AV codec find decoder in the demux. Oh. Yes. How are you supposed to know that this is not a decoder when it's not a decoder? Actually, come to think of it, why is this even exported on the object? Because the object comes from a different variant. Oh, this is very complicated, actually. So here's another question. Why couldn't I catch this? Why didn't I catch that? Codec. Find decoder. So if I just this is one of those cases where an empty catch actually makes a lot of sense because I'm just going to check if the decoder is unset, and obviously if I have no decoders and so don't have the code to find decoders, then the decoder is unset. Oh my god. Wait. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Make sure you delete these so you're actually doing a test here. I think that worked. That worked. That absolutely worked. Wow, okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm acting like it's a concern that it worked, but it's good that it worked. Ooh. There's a slight quasi-reentrancy problem here in that you could conceivably, like this, well, No, I don't think it's realistic. So you could conceivably have two different libav wrappers, but surely you're not gonna like have one that supports certain decoders and one another. And even if you did, that wouldn't cause this. You wouldn't care if the decoder loaded from one got used for the other. I think is the more important point. But actually, you know what? I'm not going to cache this. I don't think this is the right way to do it. I think what I should do is don't cache it. Just build a new one. And then in my destructor, terminate it. That way, there's no leaks. There's, potential overuse of resources. It will make more threads than it has to, but there's no leaks. And the more threads will actually be used to do things concurrently, so it's not like it's a bad thing. Let me add once again, make sure I'm actually testing something. Great, okay. Wait, then why is that still there? Oh, that's in build. Okay. Yeah, that definitely isn't needed anymore. Yeah, that wasn't even used. I'm not even going to go retest just for that. It's 2025. It has been for several months. And on this side, that should be a separate commit. Okay. That's like 100% working. I think I'm basically ready to release the modular version of libav, and then I can't even, like, TransAVormer might be totally ready. It was basically ready like months ago, but I did want this. This feels like a really useful feature. So let's just for my own edification, if you wanted to have every single decoder and demuxer that I can build in this modular version available,
It's only 10 megs? That seems too small. Oh, it is too small. Okay. I was like, huh? I'm also slightly perplexed because I thought I was on 7 by now, but that doesn't say 7, does it? Uh, 1.1 gigs.
This is not like no one downloads the 1.1 gigs. This is just, you need to have 1.1 gigs. I guess I can delete all the debug stuff. That'll remove more than half of it. But you need to have 1.1 gigs or probably like 400 megs or something sort of at hand. 361 megs. So that's what you need to have on the web server in order to be able to demux and decode everything modularly. Well, that's that. That 100% success. The shittier AI Laura works really well, and this is all done, and I'm feeling amazing.